Fala pessoal, beleza? Rafael Henfurt. Galera, eu tô mudando o canal aí, tá? E trouxe novidade. Claro, vamos ver aí rever, né? O lançamento da Starship, né? O voo 5, eu acompanho desde 2017 o desenvolvimento dele, né? E digo pra vocês uma coisa, é muito emocionante. Eu tava de manhã, domingo de manhã, levantei correndo no horário, na hora do lançamento, faltavam uns 2 minutos para começar a lançar. Foi muito bom. Vamos acompanhar isso aí, né? E bora lá. A partir do canal vai ser tudo assim agora, nós vamos fazer react. Beleza? Vamos lá.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Bora lá.
30 seconds into the flight, the rebels just starting to reach us here at launch control.
Boosters here, avionics power, telemetry nominal.
33 Raptor engines.
Max Q.
Now pass through the maximum aerodynamic pressure, the most stress the vehicle's going to see on the way uphill. All right, our next major milestone coming up, it's going to be hot staging. We're going to see the engines ignite on ship to push it away from the booster.
Que nem eu falei agora há pouco, mas tava montado. Os motores estão todos perfeitos, né? Nenhum. Ó a pluma ali, ó. Ó a pluma.
We're going to do what's called most engines cut off instead of main engine cut off, because 3 are going to keep going, and then we're going to see the engines on ship ignite.
Olha, já é a terceira vez que eu assisto isso aqui e tá incrível, cara. É muito top. Mesmo assistindo a terceira vez já. Agora eu tô vendo com vocês, né?
And we might hear some really good words soon, too. All right. Can still see it up behind me. That is one of the most gorgeous things I've ever seen in my entire life. Coming up on hot staging next.
Ó, hot stage agora. Vamos separar.
Most engines cut off.
Stage separation. Booster
Stage separation. Hot stage separation confirmed.
Se você perceber, deu 3 minutos, cara, quase 3 minutos pra subir o foguete e já se separar. Agora ele vai separar o hot stage, né?
Oh man, that was absolutely incredible. I loved how the crowd
chamber pressure is nominal.
The crowd here in Hawthorne all went ooh at that first view of the blue flames from the booster. As you can see there, first stage currently performing, or excuse me, is now making its way back to the launch site. Again, we are...
Ship avionics power and telemetry nominal.
Agora ele vai começar a fazer a separação no hot stage, que é o disco que vai em cima, onde separa ali, né? Vocês vão ver depois ali.
We did hear that the tower is go for catch, so that was one of the big criteria we were looking for.
Essa é a última Starship da versão 1, né, da V1, que a partir da próxima viagem agora é da versão 2.
Beautiful view here from the ship.
And so exciting to hear that we got a go for booster catch. That means it's going to be a really exciting morning. Again, the booster is making its way back towards now land in order to make that catch attempt in the tower.
So incredible to see these views. You can see the ship on the right-hand side of your screen. All 6 Raptor engines are under full power. Once again, the booster is making its way back to the launch site. We are going to try and catch it using the chopsticks on the launch tower, the exact same tower that it just launched from just, wow, 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, and the booster.
Starship on nominal
Guys,
trajectory.
I can confirm the command was sent for the booster to come back.
That is
So I'm
incredible
looking
news.
up right now.
Ó, você vê ali, ó, aquela bolinha embaixo é o rock stage, né? A tampa que vai em cima para separar ali o foguete da nave. Aquela bolinha que tá vendo ali é o rock stage, né?
And so once again, it's successful on-time liftoff of Starship Flight 5. The ship has separated from the booster. The booster is there on your screen. It is making its way back to the launch site. We are going to attempt the catch using the chopsticks. We did hear the confirmation that the command was sent to the tower. We are go for catch.
And in order to...
And guys, we should just be about 30 seconds away from our landing burn. It's going to happen in 3 phases. We're going to land.
Nesse momento foi autorizado o pouso. Agora ele vai autorizar o pouso, ó. Então ele vai descer. Pouso para a torre vai pegar ele.
13 of those Raptor engines, and this view is incredible right now. You can see how fast this vehicle is moving on the left-hand screen.
Landing burn has been ignited. We're now down to 3 Raptor engines. We can see those chopsticks now in the air.
Não, é surreal. Não tem. É a terceira vez que eu vejo e fico impressionado. É muito top isso aí. Muito bom.
Kidding me?
Dan,
Wow.
I don't know about you, but we're
Os próprios pessoal não tá acreditando que eles fizeram isso, eles mesmos. É amazing, né? Olha, só pode ser magia, ó. Coisa mágica. Bom.
for the engineering history books. This is a live view of the Super Heavy booster as it has just been successfully caught back at the very same launch tower that it just came from. Dan, I love this. You are reflecting exactly what everybody else here in Hawthorne, except maybe a little bit more because you got to see it with your own eyes.
How was that?
We got it. I mean, like, I can't even describe that. Oh, by the way, main engine cut off, ship's in orbit, but I am like shaking right now. That was.
Yeah, This is not,
Yeah,
I mean,
let's check in on ship.
it's hard to believe that.
Starship nominal orbit insertion.
All right, exciting news there. It's hard to believe that, booster isn't the only excitement that we have today. Just confirmation there. A gorgeous view of planet Earth behind the ship.
Saved.
And it is now in the orbit that we expected it to. This is just an incredible day. Live views there as the booster vents, some pressures there. That is a live view from the top of the tower looking at the chopsticks.
I am
Não, não, olha a visão linda dessa aí, ó, da nave. Olha a terra de baixo. Caraca, de lado, sei lá, né? Surreal mesmo.
We are all so excited about everything that's been happening so far this morning. With the booster having completed its job for today, we are going to take a short break for the next 30 minutes. We'll return back at T plus 40 minutes while the ship continues to coast before re-entry. Again, we need to protect every portion of it, so even those curved surfaces and especially the
Ó, começou a reentrada, ó, o plasma se formando ali embaixo. Aí, vamos ver, eu sei o resultado, né, mas tipo, a sustentação da pressão entre a atmosfera tá criando plasma, daí vai ser surreal, isso, muito bom. Ó,
We can start to see that plasma now starting to build up on the side. It's not quite full plasma yet, but we are starting to see that color indicate that the heat is building up on the heat shield.
Yeah, this is such a cool sight to see because you really never really have gotten to see this live before flight
4.
Yeah. And as Kate mentioned, it's getting a little more red, as you can see there on your screen. That means that heat is building up, but that's exactly what these heat shield tiles are there for, is to protect against this plasma and this really, really extreme heat that the vehicle is going to see for about the next 10 more minutes or so.
Yeah, so the ship will attempt to light the 3 center Raptor engines, and those are the engines that can gimbal or maneuver or point, and they do that to help flip the ship until the engines point down so that it can land using the Raptor's thrust in the ocean. So that will happen after we get through this re-entry period. Again, now starting to see, and we also might start to see the flaps actuate a little bit here as the vehicle controls its role during re-entry. That was one of the main learning points from flight.
Gentler angle this time instead of just kind of hit the water and fall over. And the goal with that is try and keep the ship intact, and then if we're able to then get some additional video of it, again, that's just more data.
Eu, como chamo, eu pulei porque eu não vou deixar vocês passarem todo esse tempo assim, me vendo aí, né? E vou dizer uma coisa, a parte mais emocionante vai ser agora, porque passou o quê? Uns 10, 15 minutos só na reentrada ali, demora todo esse tempo, mas vamos avançar o vídeo, né? Porque senão fica muito maçante. Eu, pelo menos eu acho.
We're still moving really fast, and the atmosphere is just dense enough that we're feeling the most pressure, but hopefully we're going to start feeling a little bit less heat now.
Looks like we got more views of each of the flaps on the ship as it's making its way back down to Earth. And we did pass through peak heating and still got really good views throughout that whole period. Typically during the highest heat on the vehicle, we tend to build up a lot of plasma, and that's typically when we would lose connection or views of the vehicle. But again, with Starlink, we were able to get some live views throughout that entire process there.
And we're coming up. We'll start hearing a couple more milestones in about 4 minutes or so when we start getting down to like the transonic, the subsonic, when we're starting to move closer to and beneath the speed of sound. And I mean, we're getting live views, we're getting live data. We've got a couple additional tests on this one today where we left off some missing tiles again to to test some additional backup layers. We also have, I don't know if we can still quite see them in this view, but you may have noticed we had some kind of silvery looking tiles on Starship as well. And those were pretty much standard tiles, but they were wrapped in aluminum. And it was a pretty simplistic, straightforward one where aluminum starts to melt at roughly the same temperature where steel starts to lose its strength, not necessarily melt. And so if we see stuff melting, we know what our steel is going to be exposed to. But yeah, 59 minutes since launch, should be coming up on transonic and everything in just about 3 minutes.
Now the views here, we have coverage of all 4 flaps. We can see, so for those that perhaps didn't catch a glimpse of the vehicle before liftoff, there are 2 flaps at the forward end and 2 flaps at the aft end. The larger camera view
estão
that
falando
is
ali é
there
que
on the right-hand side of
vou
your
baixar pouquinho
screen, that
aqui.
is a view of one of the aft end or the bottom
pessoal,
end flaps.
Eles estão.
We can start to see some heat buildup and peeking through on one of the flaps there in the top left-hand corner of your screen.
O flap superior tá desmanchando, né, que nem a última vez. Mas pelo menos está resistindo bastante tempo. Se fosse já passou dos 10 mil, agora acabou a sustentação. Ó.
9 seconds into its flight today, re-entering the Earth's atmosphere. Currently about 45 kilometers above the surface of the Earth, now 44. We are targeting a soft splashdown in the Indian Ocean, about, northwest-ish of Australia. And we are attempting to, as we did on Flight 4, perform a flip maneuver as well as a...
Starship is at maximum entry dynamic pressure, remains on a good trajectory.
All right, so that is great news.
Não, mas tá tranquilo, essa daí
like Dan said
normal.
Earlier, this is basically max Q part 2. So this is the greatest amount of
agora vai começar a resfriar por causa da na atmosfera, né? Passou da massa ali, já está no oxigênio. E a temperatura é muito baixa lá em cima. Vai começar a esfriar a nave.
The atmosphere is actually helping to slow the vehicle down. If you're watching the telemetry in the bottom right-hand side, right-hand corner of your screen, you can see that speed decelerating rapidly.
Ela conseguiu esfriar e manter normal.
The ship help steer the vehicle, and one of the main objectives
perdeu a qualidade da visão.
is to demonstrate controlled re-entry during this phase
Ainda
of flight, this
46, 45 km de altura.
And we have 6 engines on ship, but we only need 3 of them, the 3 sea-level engines. We will have that flip maneuver happen very close to touching down or splashdown. We'll do that flip maneuver, ignite those engines, slow the vehicle down immediately, and then hopefully have what we call a soft splash. What we call a soft splashdown into water. It's probably going to feel a little bit harder on the top of the surface of the water, but it'll look pretty gentle.
Yeah, and like we said earlier, we hope to have some more views, even of that phase of the flight. So fingers crossed that we can bring those to you. We are hoping to splash down softer than we did last time on Flight 4. Right now, Starship continuing to make its descent back to planet Earth.
Starship is at Mach 2, remains on a good trajectory.
All right, great news there. That tells us that the vehicle is traveling twice the speed of sound. So we will then, the next call out that we'll hear is that it is, traveling about the speed of sound, and then we will hear a call out that that will be the call out that it is transonic, and then we will hear another call out saying that it is subsonic, meaning going slower than the speed of sound.
Starship is transonic.
There it is. So at this point in time, we say transonic because certain parts of the vehicle, like the flap that you see on your screen, might be experiencing airflow faster than the speed of sound, while other parts of the ship may be experiencing airflow.
Starship is in the subsonic belly flop.
All right, so now the entire vehicle is traveling slower than the speed of sound, so subsonic.
Saiu da subsônica, agora tá
also getting excited, just like us. We're awaiting.
Mas ainda está a 13 metros de altura, 3 km de altura, 13 km é muita coisa, 12. Ó, tá estabilizando, estabilizou. Agora ele tá de barriga. Agora ele tá caindo assim, ó.
Yeah, the crowd's getting excited here as we get closer and closer to splashdown. Again, just about a minute away from the expected splashdown, so we should see a lot happening coming up here shortly. We're currently having a view of one of the flaps, and it is a little bit dark on your screen, but hopefully we'll get some good views of the ship as it makes that flip maneuver and touchdown for splashdown.
Yeah,
yeah, guys, we saw that speed drop like a rock. So we're doing a belly flip right now, or a belly flop right now. That's what's kind of, if you saw the high altitude campaign, that's the unique thing about how Starship comes back. So we bled off pretty much all of the speed we're going to. We're essentially at terminal velocity.
Starship is at 5 kilometers altitude, remains on target.
Ó. Ok.
Five to go, coming up soon, landing burn.
Ó, tá preparando para fazer o flap maneuver, que é fazer o cavalo de pau. Tá chegando no... Só que o problema é a sustentação dele é muito boa, porque parece estar... A velocidade não diminui, ó. Ó, já tá quase um quilômetro, vai fazer a manobra agora da flip maneuver. Ó, menos de 1 quilômetro. Ligou. Boa! Ó. Tá planando na água, Tentando, agora para baixo. Desceu de vez, ó. Ah. E daí, tombar. E a boia do Índico. A explosão ali foi proposital, tá? A explosão foi proposital. Então, eles não querem recuperar a nave, então pousou, vamos destruir e afunda. E foi bem próximo da boia, né? Onde eles queriam botar. Muito top, muito boa mesmo. É isso aí, galera. Dei uma pausinha aqui, vamos voltar. E que nem eu falei pra vocês, cara, ficou muito top, muito top. Vou ver se a gravação não ficou muito bugada, porque ficou 3 áudios, né? Daí eu tenho que editar direitinho aqui. Mas perfeito. O último voo foi semi-perfeito. Este voo foi muito perfeito. E é isso aí, galera. O próximo voo eles vão tentar capturar de novo. E agora parece que vão tentar pousar a Starship numa balsa ou em solo. Mas aonde eu não sei. Vamos esperar o Elon Musk e a SpaceX dizer onde vai ser, né? Então é isso aí. Muito obrigado. Quem curtiu, quem gostou, põe curtir. Compartilhe com os amigos. O canal vai estar mudando, vai ter coisas novas aí, tá? Agora é Rafael Henfurt, onde eu vou reagir muitas coisas aí. E espero que vocês curtam junto aí, tá? Um monte de coisa nova. E a área espacial eu adoro. Feito!